Good morning and welcome to the Franchise Minute. I'm Anna Wilds, the franchise economist, and today our special guest is Chip Baranowski with Best Life Brands. Chip, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Anna. I enjoy the invite and I look forward to our conversation.
Absolutely. And today's topic, what our conversation is going to be about, is franchise training and support. And so before we watch the Franchise Minute on this topic, Chip, tell us a little bit about yourself and Best Life Brands.
Yeah, great. So, Anna, I've been in the franchise industry for over 23 years now, both on the development side, operations, as well as I was a consultant, much like you in my past life. I work for Best Life Brands. Best Life Brands actually has four concepts in the senior care space. I represent Comfort Care, which is our non-medical home care company that provides daily activities of life help with caregivers. I also represent Boost Home Healthcare, which is our skilled service, which provides clinicians that for people that are going through a personal episode that just need short-term care. And then we also have Care Patrol, which is our placement business, and Blue Moon Estate Sales, which is our estate sale business, helping families that are downsizing out of their big home, maybe into a senior community or into a smaller house, get rid of 50 years of stuff. So
Right.
what I love about Best Life Brands, we cover the continuum of care for individuals that are aging that need help to live their best life possible.
And you know, even though I've been in franchising for 20 years, Best Life Brands is the only organization I'm aware of in franchising that does that, that looks for that continuum. That's really fantastic. A
Yeah, that is
big
correct.
differentiator for you and what Best Life Brands is all about.
Yes.
Okay, so audience, so you understand what the format is, we're going to watch the Franchise Minute video, and then Chip's going to help explain training and support that franchises provide. All right, let's watch the Franchise Minute. Welcome to the Franchise Minute. I'm Anna Wilds, the franchise economist, and today's topic is training and support. These are important differentiators between franchises and other business ventures. When someone writes a check for a franchise fee, a number of things are included. Not only does someone get a proven business model, but also they get training for learning and operating the business, as well as support for the entire tenure of the franchise term. For a new service franchisee, getting scheduled for training is near the top of the to-do list. For a new retail franchisee, training typically occurs after a site is secured and sometime before grand opening. Every franchise will have their own level of training and support, so evaluate these important aspects of a franchise during your franchise discovery process. Thanks for joining us. I'm Anna Wilds, the franchise economist. Come back next week to learn more about franchises and what they have to offer. Chip, one thing I want to start us off with is this. Just about every single franchise, actually, I can't even think of an exception to this. All the franchises that I work with have in big, bold cap letters, no experience necessary. And the reason for that is the training and support that they provide. So start us off with what happens in the stroke of a pen. Someone goes from a franchise candidate to becoming a new franchisee. So tell us about the onboarding process.
Yeah, so for instance, with Best Life Brands and for Comfort Care, for example, is once a franchisee signs the franchise agreement, shortly after that agreement is signed and the money is paid, our onboarding specialist will give them a call to start mapping out the whole onboarding process and training process. So for Comfort Care, for example, we have 4 phases that we take a client through to get open and support them. First phase is kind of the pre-training checklist. So making sure that they get all simple things together, like their email account set up. If they needed to form their business entity after they got into the business to do that. They're going to do some online training through our training portal. And for Comfort Care, they're going to work with our compliance department because most states in the US here require some sort of home care license in order to be able to do this business. So they're working very closely with our compliance office to get the application submitted to the state. because that's number one. We need to get that in right
Mm-hmm.
away so they can start the rest of it. And now once that's all done and we know their license is going to be approved within 30 days, we move them into phase two, which is our virtual online training. Prior to COVID, we did do live training, but then
Mm-hmm.
as every franchisor did, we pivoted to virtual training, and we continue to do it because it's actually working very well. So
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be a 2 week process where every day, Monday through Friday, for about 8 hours a day, you're going to jump on a call like we're doing now on Google or Zoom, and
Mm-hmm.
you'll be meeting with our subject matter experts on all avenues of this business. Everything from opening your office to recruiting caregivers and leading them to marketing your local market. And so you'll be on a webinar with other new franchisees coming on board as well
Mm-hmm.
as yourself. And so that's 2 weeks. And then once you get through with new owner training, we move you into phase three because by then, hopefully, you'll have your license or very close. We move you
Mm-hmm.
into pre-opening. So it's again making sure that we have all the I's dotted and T's crossed. You have caregivers hired, advertising ready to go, and you're ready to go. And
Mm-hmm.
then you open your office, and then we move you into phase four. Phase four for Comfort Care is the next 12 months. You will be assigned a franchise business consultant who is your
Oh,
mentor and support person that's going to support you through the life of your franchise. And in that first year, they're going to come out into your office anywhere from 32 to 40 hours, not all at once. We're going to spread it out.
so
But
these are field visits from
yes,
the
field visit.
franchise staff to the local franchisee's office. That's
That's
fantastic.
correct. That's correct. And we're not going to do it right when they open. We want to give them a few, maybe a month or a couple weeks to get their sea legs
Yeah.
and work it out, and then come in after they've been open for a while, and then do kind of a little SWOT analysis. What's some things that are going really well for them, but maybe what are
Mm-hmm.
some of the things that are challenging them, and be
Mm-hmm.
able to work with them face to face. And
Good.
then after that year of support there, your franchise business consultant will always be there. And we really kind of take every franchisee case by case based on the need that they need from us.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be a franchise in year two. They still want us, the franchise business consultant, to talk to them once a month.
Mm-hmm.
Others might be, hey, let's touch base once a quarter. But they
Mm-hmm.
always know that we're accessible to them at any time when they have a question or an opportunity in their business.
So it's situational. It's really driven by the franchisee, how much
Mhm.
support and training that they need. Well, that's fantastic. There was someone named Brian, a franchisor, the founder of a franchise, and he told me, Anna, we train our franchisees till they tell us to stop. I mean, that's the type of organization I think y'all are as well, that you really are there about the franchisees and them getting off on the right foot and being successful and happy with their new venture with Best Life Brands. Now, there are a couple of points I like to make before we go on.
Yeah.
One is clearly your brands are what we call a service business. It doesn't, there is an office, but as opposed to like retail, brick and mortar. And there's been no mention, and there will be no mention of like build out of a location and that sort of stuff, because that's not really relevant to a service franchise. And then the other comment that I had is the licensing.
Mhm.
It's actually not all that unique. There are a variety of franchises and a variety of industries where states require licensing. I just placed somebody with a real estate management franchise, and the franchisee had to get a real estate license.
Mhm.
There are other franchises that I work with where a general contractor's license may be required by a state, other states may not require it. So anyway, it's just wonderful. You mentioned your compliance department. So I think that's a really important department and some wonderful help to go through that uh, process with a new franchisee who would be unfamiliar with that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Chip, tell us a bit about this. What you mentioned the class. Well, first, the classroom training. How
Mhm.
long does that take? I mean, it's 8-hour days for how long?
For 2 weeks. So
Two
eight
weeks.
hours a day for 2 weeks. Again, they'll take breaks throughout the day, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
we're not going to make you sit in front of a computer for 8 hours straight, but Again, it's all about the interaction too, because again, when you have more than one franchisee involved in training, there's going to be a lot of questions and interaction. We really thrive on that. Our subject matter experts just don't want to get up there and talk for 8 hours straight.
Right, right.
We want to work with our franchise owners, so they do a little exercise where they're working on their elevator pitch when they're going into a hospital to talk to a discharge nurse or to a doctor's office. And how do you introduce yourself and what do you tell them? So we really wanted it to be kind of interactive instead of just sitting up there and talking the whole time.
So it's role playing, it's learning by example, it's all of that.
Yeah.
Reading, watching, video, all that sort of stuff. They're kind of like 4 ways people learn. It sounds like you hit on all of them. Yeah. Now, let's take a moment. So, I love that you talked about, how to go out and get the customers. And I'm sure you talk at length about how to go out and get the caregivers. What are other operational aspect? I mean, what is covered over 2 weeks? Give us a little more insight, a little more detail about the type of training someone would.
So it's how to set up your office. What are the key roles that you, the owner, are going to do? Because again, some owners are more operational driven versus marketing. So we want to really identify what their role is and what staff do you need around you. What I always tell people in doing this for 23 years is you can't be an expert in everything. Look at where your weaknesses are. And so when I ran my business, for example, I'm not an accountant. I don't do the finances well. So I hired a great accountant to take care of that for me and sat down with them and we went through a process that I followed. So don't try to do everything. And a lot of business owners, when they first start out, they want to do everything and they don't want to hire staff. We don't want you to do that. It's a big mistake when you're trying to do everything. So during training, we're identifying what your strengths are and what you need to do to hire and where to place the ads, how to go through an interview process, how to put a compensation plan together. And then when it comes to recruiting caregivers, when do I start that? When do I stop it? Do I stop it? And our role
you never stop.
Yeah. And that's what we tell all of our franchisees is when you start recruiting caregivers, you're going to always recruit because your business will constantly change. And if you're not constantly recruiting, you're going to one day walk into your office and you're going to need caregivers. And then you have to start that whole recruiting effort all up again.
Absolutely. Well, this is a good lead into, can you give us an example of a franchisee who's been in business 2, 3, 4 years, and what would they need corporate for at this point? Because they've gone through all this.
Various different things. Yeah, there are various different things that might happen, Anna, in a franchise owner's life, because when you're brand new, you don't have a lot of clients. And then all of a sudden you start growing and all of a sudden you now go from 5 clients to where you're servicing over 30 and your business is changing now. And maybe your role is, and maybe you need another person to help out. So our franchise business consultants are able to sit down with the owner and look at their current staff, see where there are some gaps, or maybe the owner's not running things efficiently. Maybe they don't need another employee, but they just need to tune in how everybody job description is, or they might actually need another person. So it's kind of going in and doing a look under the hood and diagnose where some issues might be occurring. Other franchisees might be calling and saying, hey, I've hit a certain level in revenue and I want to grow more. What do I need to do to hit that next level? So sitting down with the franchise business consultant and looking at where their current business is right now, and it might be reinvesting in my business, both in people and financially, which some people get a little scared at. They get to a comfort level and then all of a sudden they want to grow, but then they realize, well, with growth, I got to put more money in the business. I might be taking less money out of my business in the short term. And I might need to, again, a lot of different things with growth, but that's what we're here to do in helping the franchise owner versus somebody doing it independently. Who do they have to rely on?
Right. Chip, we've run out of time. And before we sign off, what do you recommend the audience do if anyone is interested in learning more about Best Life Brands?
Well, Anna, I think the best way is to contact you as the franchise professional who's worked with hundreds of clients in the past and placed them into business to really understand what the right franchise is for them and help them weed through the thousands and thousands of opportunities to find the best franchise for them.
Well, Thank you for being here, Chip. This is Chip Baranowski with Best Life Brands, and I'm Anna Wiles, the franchise economist. Thank you for watching, and come back next week where our topic will be growth strategies. Bye.
Bye-bye.